Job, Chapter 1. Job piety. In the land of the Uz there was a blameless and upright man named Job, who feared God and avoided evil. 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. And he had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of the oxen, 500 donkeys, and a very large household, so that he was greater than anyone in the East. His son used to take turns giving feasts, sending invitation to their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And when each feast had run its course, Job would send for them and sanctify them, rising early and offering sacrifice for every one of them. For Job said, "It may be that my children have sinned and cursed God in their heart." Job did this habitually. The interview between the Lord and Satan. One day when the Son of God came to present themselves before the Lord, the Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you been?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Roaming the earth and patrolling it." The Lord said to the Satan, "Have you noticed my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him, blameless and upright, fearing God and avoiding evils." The Satan answered the Lord and said, "Is it for nothing that Job is God-fearing? Have you not surrounded him and his family and all that he was with your protections? You have blessed the work of his hand, and his livestock are spread over the land. But now put forth your hand and touch all that he has, and surely he will curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well, all that he has in your power, only do not lay a hand on him." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. The first trial. One day while his son and daughter were eating and drinking wine in the house of their eldest brothers, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkey grazing beside them, and the Sabines carried them up in a raid. They put the servant to the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when another came and said, "God fire has fallen from heaven and struck the sheep and the servant and consumed them. I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when another came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 columns, seized the camel, carried them out, and put servant to the sword. I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when another came and said, "Your son and daughter were eating and drinking wine in the house of their eldest brother. And suddenly a great wind came from across the desert and smashed the 4 corners of the house. I fell upon young people, and they are dead. I alone have escaped to tell you." Job's reactions. Then Job arose and tore his cloak and cut off his hair. He fell to the ground and worshipped. He said, "Naked I came forth from my mother's womb, and naked shall I go back there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job did not sin, nor did he charge God with wrong. Job chapter 2. The second interview. One day when the Son of God came to present themselves before the Lord, the Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you been?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Roaming the earth and patrolling it." The Lord said to Satan, "Have you noticed my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him, blameless and upright, fearing God and avoiding evil. He still holds fast to his innocence, although you incited me against him to ruin him for nothing." The Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin, all that a man has, he will give for his life." But put forth your hand and touch his bone and his flesh, then surely he will curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, He is in your power, only spare his life. The second trial. So the Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with severe boils from the sole of his feet to the crown of his head. Job's reaction. He took a potsherd to scrape himself as he sat among the ashes. Then his wife said to him, Are you still holding to your innocence? Curse God and die. But he said to her, You speak as a foolish woman do. We accept the good things from God. Should we not accept evils? Through all this, Job did not sin in what he said. Job 3 friends. Now when three of the Job friends heard all the misfortune that he had come upon him, they set out each one from his own place. Eliphaz from Teman, Bildad from Shur, and Zophar from Naamath. They met and journeyed together to give him sympathy and comfort. But when at a distance they lifted up their eyes and did not recognize him, they began to weep aloud. They threw their cloak and threw dust into the air over their heads. Then they sat down upon the ground with him 7 days and 7 nights, but none of them spoke a word to him, for they saw how great was his suffering. Job chapter 3, Job complaint. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. Job spoke out and said, Perish the day on which I was born, the night when they said, The child is a boy. May that day be darkness, may God above not care for it, may light not shine upon it. May darkness and gloom claim it, the cloud settle upon it, blackness of day affright it. May obscurity seize that night, may it not be counted among the day of the years, nor enter into the number of the months. May that night be barren, let no joyful outcry greet it. Let them curse it who curse the sea, those skilled at disturbing leviathans. May the star of its twilight be darkened, may it look for their light, but have none, nor gaze on the eyes of the dawn. Because it did not keep shut the door of the wombs to shield my eyes from troubles. Why did I not die at birth, come forth from the womb and expire? Why the knees receive me, or breast nurse me? For then I should have lain down and been tranquil. Had I slept, I should then have been at rest. With kings and the council of the earth who rebuilt what ye ruins, or with princes who had gold and filled their house with silver. Or why was I not buried away like a stillborn child, like babies that had never seen the light? There the wicked cease from troubling, there the weary are at rest. The captive are at ease together, and hear no overseer voice. Small and great are there, the servant is free from the masters. Why is a light given to the toiler, life to the bitter in spirit? They wait for the death and it does not come. They search for it more than for hidden treasures. They rejoice in it exultingly and are glad when they find the grave. A man whose past is hidden from him, one whom God has hemmed in. For to me shine come more readily than food, my groans will forth like words. For what I feared overtakes me, what I dreaded comes upon me. I have no peace nor ease, I have no rest, for trouble has come. Job chapter 4. Eliphaz's first speech. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If someone attempt a war with you, would you mind? How can anyone refrain from speaking? Look, you have instructed many and made firm their feeble hands. Your words have upheld the stumbler, you have strengthened the faltering knees. But now that is come to you, you are impatient. When it touched you, you are dismayed. Is not your fire the source of the confidence and your integrity of life your hope? Reflect now what innocent person perishes, where are the upright destroyed? As I see it, those who plow mischief and sow trouble will leap them. By the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of the last they are consumed. Though the lion roars, though the king of the beasts cries out, yet teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of the prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. A word was stealthily brought to me, my ear caught the whisper of it. In my thought during a vision of the night, who deep sleep falls on mortals. Fear came upon me and the shuddering that terrified me to the bone. Then a spirit passed before me, and the hair of my body stood on end. It paused, but its likeness I could not recognize. A figure was before my eyes. In silence I heard a voice. Can anyone be more in the right than God? Can mortals be more blameless than their makers? Look, he puts no trust in his servant, and even with his messenger he finds fault. How much more with those who dwell in the house of the clay, whose foundation is the dust, who are crushed more easily than a moth. Morning or evening they may be shadowed unnoticed, they perish forever. The pegs of their tent are plucked up, they died without knowing wisdom. Job chapter 5. Kola, will anyone respond to you? To which of the holy ones will you turn? Surely impatience kills the fool, and indignation slays the simple reasons. I've seen a fool spreading his root, but I crushed his whole household suddenly. May his children be far from safety, may they be crushed at the gate without a rescue. What they have reaped may the hungry eat up, or God take away by blight, or the thirsty swallow their substance. For not from dust does mischief come, nor from the soil does trouble sprout. Human beings beget mischief as sparks fly upwards. In your place I would appeal to God, and to God I would state my plea. He does things great and unsearchable, things marvelous and innumerable. He gives rain upon the earth and sends water upon the fields. He set up the lowly on high, and those who mourn are raised to safety. He frustrated the plan of the cunning, so that their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise in their own ruses, and the design of the crafty are rooted. They meet with the darkness in the daytime, at noonday they grope as though it were night. But he saves the poor from the sword of the mouth, from the hand of the mighty. Thus the needy have hope, and iniquity close its mouth. Happy the one whom God reproves, the Almighty discipline do not reject. For he wounds, but he binds up, he strikes, but his hands give healings. Out of 6 trouble he will deliver you, and at the 7th no evil shall touch you. In famine he will deliver you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. From the scourge of the tongue you shall be hidden, and you shall not fear approaching a ruin. At the ruin and one you shall laugh, the beasts of the earth do not fear. With the stone of the field shall your covenant be, and the wild beast shall be at peace with you. And you shall know that your tent is secure, taking stock of your household, you shall miss nothing. You shall know that your descendants are many, and your offspring like a grass of the earth. You shall approach the grave in full vigor, as a shock of the grain comes in at its seasons. See, this we have searched out, so it is. This we have heard, and you should know. Job chapter 6. Job first reply. Then Job answered and said, how could my anguish but be measured, and my calamity weighed with it in the scales? They would now outweigh the sand of the sea. Because of this I speak without restraint. For the arrows of the Almighty are in me, and my spirit drinks in their poisons. The terror of the God are arrayed against me. Does the wild donkey bray when it has grass? Does the ox roll over its foders? Can anything insipid be eaten without salt? Is there flavor in the white of an egg? I refuse to touch them. They are like a loathsome food to me. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant I long for. Even that God would decide to crush me, that he would put forth his hand and cut me out. Then I should still have a consolation and could exalt to the unremitting pains, because I have not transgressed the command of the Holy One. What strength have I that I should endure, and what is my limit that I should be patient? Have I the strength of the stone, or is my flesh of bronze? Have I no helper, and has my good sense deserted me? A friend owes kindly to one in despair, though he has forsaken the fear of the Almighty. My companions are undependable as a wadi, as water courses that run dry in the wadis. Though they may be black with ice and with snow heaped upon them, yet once they flow, they cease to be. In the heat, they disappear from their place. Caravans wander from their roots. They go into the wasteland and perish. The caravans of the Tema surge. The companies of the Sheba has hopes. They are disappointed, though they were confident. They come there and are frustrated. It is thus that you have not become for me. You see terrifying things and are afraid. Have I said, give me something, make a bribe on the behalf from your possessions? Or deliver me from the hand of the enemy, redeem me from oppressors? Teach me and I will be silent, make me understand how I have erred. How painful honest words can be, yet how unconvincing is your argument. Do you consider your words as proof, but the saying of the desperate man as wind? You'd even cast a lot of the orphans and would barter over your friends. Come now, give me your attention, surely I'll lie to your face. Think it over, let there be no injustice. Think it over, I still am right. Is there insincerity on my tongues, or cannot my taste discern a falsehood? Job chapter 7. Is not life on earth the drudgery, its days like those of the hirelings? Like a slave who longs for the shade, a hireling who waits for wages. So I have been assigned the months of the fidelities, and the troubled night have been counted off for me. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise? Then the night drags on. I am filled with the restlessness until the dawn. My flesh is clothed with the worms and the scabs, my skin cracked and festers. My days are swifter than the river shorter, they come to an end without hope. Remember that my life is like the wind, my eyes will not see happiness again. The eye that now sees me shall no more behold me. When your eyes is on me, I shall be gone. As a cloud dissolves and vanishes, so whoever goes down to the sheol shall not come up. They shall not return home again, their place shall know them no more. My own utterance I will not restrain, I'll speak in the anguish of my spirit, I'll complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I the sea or a dragon that you place a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then you frighten me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that I should prefer strangulation and death rather than my existence. I waste away, I will not live forever. Let me alone, for my days are but a breath. What are human beings that you make much of them or pay them any heed? You observe them every morning and try them at every moment. How long before you look away from me and let me alone till I swallow my spit? If I sin, what do I do to you, O watcher of morals? Why have you made me your target? Why should it be a burden for you? Why do you not pardon my offense or take away my guilt? For soon I shall lie down in dust, and should you seek me, I shall be gone. Job chapter 8, Bildad first speech. Bildad the Shunammite answered and said, How long will you utter such things? The words from your mouth are mighty wind. Does God pervert judgment? Does the Almighty pervert justice? If your children have sinned against him, and he has left them in the grip of their guilt, still if you yourself can recourse to God and make a supplication to the Almighty, should you be blameless and upright, surely now he will rouse himself for you and restore your rightful home. Though your beginning was small, your future will flourish indeed. Inquire of the former generations, pay attention to the experience of their ancestors. As we are brought up yesterday and have no knowledge, because our days on earth are but a shadow. Will they not teach you and tell you and utter their words of the understanding? Can the papyrus grow up without the mirror? Can the reed grass flourish without the water? While it was yet green and uncut, it withers quicker than any grass. So is the end of everyone who forgets God, and so shall the hope of the godless perish. His confidence is but a gossamer thread, his trust is a father's house. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall cling to it, but it shall not endure. He thrives in the full sun, and over his garden he should go forth. About the heap of the stone his roots are entwined. Among the rocks he takes hold. Yet if one tears him from his place, it will disown him. I have never seen you. There he lies, rotting beside the road, and out of the soil another sprout. Behold, God will not cast away the upright, neither will he take the hand of the wicked. Once more will he fill your mouth with rapture, and your lips with rejoicing. Those who hate you shall be clothed with shame, and the tent of the wicked shall be no more. Job chapter 9. Job second replied. Then Job answered and said, I know well that it is so, but how can anyone be in the right before God? Should one wish to contend with him, he could not answer him once in 1,000 times. God is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who has withstood him and remained whole. He removes the mountain before they know it. He overturned them in his anger. He shakes the earth out of its place, and the pillars beneath it trembles. He commands the sun, and it does not rise. He seals up the stars. He alone stretches out the heavens and the trees upon the back of the sea. He made the bear and the Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellation of the south. He does things great and unsearchable, things marvelous and innumerable. Should he come near me, I do not see him. Should he pass by, I am not aware of him. Should he seize me forcibly, who can resist? Who can say to him, what are you doing? He is God, and he does not relent. The helper of the Rahab bow beneath him. How then could I give him any answer or choose out the argument against him? Even though I were right, I could not answer, but should rather beg for what was due me. If I feared to him and he answered me, I could not believe that he would listen to me. With a storm he might overwhelm me and multiply my wounds for nothings. He would not allow me to draw breath, but might fill me with bitter grapes. If it be a question of strength, he is mighty, or of judgment, who will call him to account? Though I were right, my own mouth might condemn me. Were I innocent, it might put me in the wrong. I am innocent, but I cannot know it. I despise my life. It is all one, therefore I say, both the innocent and the wicked he destroys. When the scourge slays suddenly, he scoffed at the despair of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges. If it is not he, who then is it? My days are swifter than the runner. They flee away, they see no happiness. They shoot by like a skip of a reed, like an eagle swooping upon its prey. If I say I forget my complaining, I lay aside my sadness and be of good cheer. Then I am in dread of all my pains. I know that you will not hold me innocent. It is I who will be accounted guilty. Why then should I strive in vain? If I should wash myself with soap and cleanse my hands with lies, yet you would plunge me in the ditch, so that my garment would abhor me. For it is not a man like myself that I should answer him, that he should come together in judgment. Would there were an arbiter between us, who could lay his hand upon us both? And so withdrew his rod from me, so that his terrors did not frighten me, that I might speak without being afraid of him, since this is not the case with me. Job chapter 10. I loathe my life, I will give myself up to complaint, I will speak from the bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not put me in the wrong, let me know why you oppose me. Is it a pleasure for you to oppress, to spurn the work of your hands, and shine on the plan of the wicked? Have you eyes of the flesh? Do you see as mortals see? Are your days like a day of the mortals, and are your years like a human lifetime? That you seek for guilt in me and search after my sins, even though you know that I am not wicked and that none can deliver me out of your hands. Your hands have formed me and fashioned me. Will you then turn and destroy me? Or remember that you have fashioned me from clay. Will you then bring me down to dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk and thicken me like cheese? With skin and flesh you clothed me, with bones and sinews knit me together. Life and love you granted me, and your providence has preserved my spirit. Yet these things you have hidden in your heart, I know they are your purpose. If I should sin, you would keep watch on me, and for my guilt you would not observe me. If I should be wicked, alas for me, even if righteous, I dare not hold up my head, sated with shame, drenched in affliction. Should it lift up, you hunt me like a lion, repeatedly you show your wondrous power against me. You renew your attack upon me and multiply your harassment on me. In waves your troops come against me. Why didn't you bring me forth from the wombs? I should have died, and no eye have seen me. I should be as though I have never lived. I should have been taken from the womb to the graves. And of my days of fear, stop. Let me alone that I may recover a little. Before I go whence I shall not return, to land of the darkness and of glooms. The dark, disordered land, the real darkness is the only light. Job chapter 11, Job files the first speech, and Job the Namathite answered and said, Should not many words be answered, or must the garrulous man necessarily be right? Shall your babbling keep others silent, and shall you deride me, no one give a rebuke? Shall you say, My teaching is poor, and I am clean in your sight? But oh, that God would speak and open his lips against you, and tell you the secret of the wisdom, for good sense has two sides, so you might learn that God overlooks some of your sinfulness. Can you find out the depths of the God, or find out the perfection of the Almighty? It is higher than the heavens, what can you do? It is deeper than Sheol, what can you know? It is longer than the earth in measure, and broader than the sea. If he should cease an imprison or court judgment, who then could turn him back? For he knows the worthless and sees iniquity. Will he then ignore it? An empty head will gain understanding when a cult of the wild jackass is born human. If you set your heart alight and stretch out your hands towards him. If iniquity is in your hand, remove it, and do not let injustice dwell in your tent. Surely then you may lift up your face in innocence, you may stand firm and unafraid. For then you shall forget your misery like water that has ebbed away, you shall regret it. Then your life shall be brighter than the noonday, its gloom shall become like the mornings. And you shall be secure, because there is hope. You shall look round you and lie down in safety. You shall lie down, and no one will disturb you. Many shall entreat your favors. But the wicked looking on shall be consumed with envy. Escape shall be cut from them, their only hope, their last breath. Job chapter 12. Job third reply. Then Job answered and said, No doubt you are the people with whom wisdom shall die. But I have intelligence as well as you. I do not fall short of you, for who does not know such things as these? I become the sport of my neighbors, the one whom God answered when he calls upon him. The just, the perfect man is a laughing stock. The undisturbed esteem my downfall or disgrace, such as await the unsteady feet. Yet the tents of the Lord are prosperous, and those who provoke God are secure, whom God has in his power. But now ask the beast to teach you, the birds of the air to tell you, or speak to the earth to instruct you, and the fish of the sea to inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the God has done this? In his hand is the soul of the every living things, and the life breath of the all moral flesh. Does not ear judge words as the mouth tastes food? So with old age is wisdom, and with length of days understandings. With him are wisdom and might, his are counsel and understandings. If he knocks a thing down, there is no rebuilding. If he imprisons, there is no release. He holds back the world, and there is a drought. He sends them forth, and they overwhelm the land. With him are strength and prudence. The misled and the misreaders are his. He sends a counselor away barefoot, makes a fool of judges. He loosened the belt of the kings, ties waistcloths on their loins. He sends the priests away barefoot, raised the powerful ashtrays. He silences the trusted advisor, takes discretion from the elders. He pours shame on the nobles, the waistband of the strong he loosens. He uncovers deep things from the darkness, bring the gloom into the light. He makes the nation great and destroys them, spread the people abroad and abandons them. He takes the understanding from the reed of the land, makes them wander in the pathless desert. They grope in the darkness without a light. He makes them wander like drunkards. Job chapter 13. All this my eye has seen, my ear has heard and perceived it. What you know, I also know. I do not fall short of you. But I would speak with the Almighty. I want to argue with God. But you gloss over falsehood. You are worthless physician, every one of you. Or that you would be altogether silent, that for you would be wisdom. Hear now my argument and listen to accusation from my lips. Is it for God that you speak falsehood? Is it for him that you utter deceit? Is it for him that you show partialities? Do you make accusation on behalf of God? Will it be well when we shall search you out? Can you deceive him as you do a mere human beings? He will openly rebuke you if in secret you show partialities. Surely his majesty will frighten you, and the dread of him fall upon you. Your remind are actually maxims, your fabrication mounds up clay. Be silent, let me alone that I may speak, no matter what happens to me. I will carry my flesh between my teeth and take my life in my hand. Slay me though he might, I'll wait for him. I'll defend my conduct before him. This shall be my salvation. No impious man can come into his presence. Pay close attention to my speech. Give my statement a hearing. Behold, I have prepared my case. I know that I am in the right. If anyone can make a case against me, then I shall be silent and expire. Two things only do not use against me, then from your presence I need not hide. Withdraw your hand far from me, do not let the terror of the year frighten me. Then call me and I'll respond, or let me speak first and answer me. What are my fault and my sins, my misdeed, my sin make known to me? Why do you hide your face and consider your enemy? Will you harass a wind-driven lip or pursue or withdraw the straws? For you draw bitter indictment against me and punish me in me the faults of my youth. You put my feet in the stocks, you watch all my paths and trace out all my footsteps. Though I wear out like a red butter, like a garment the moth has consumed. Job chapter 14. Man born of the woman is short-lived and full of trouble. Like a flower that springs up the face, swift as a shadow that does not abide. Upon such a one will you set your eyes, bringing me into judgment before you? Can anyone make the unclean clean? No one can. Since his days are determined, you know the number of his months. You have fixed the limit which he cannot pass. Look away from him and let him be, while like a hireling he completes his day. For a tree there is a hope, but if it is cut down, it will sprout again. Its tender shoot will not cease. Even though its root grew old in the earth and its stump died in the dust, Yet at the first whip of the water it sprout, and put forth a branch like a young plant. But when a man dies, all vigor leaves him. When a mortal expires, where then is he? As when the water of the lake fair or stream shrivels and dries up. So mortals lie down, never to rise, until the heavens are no more. They shall not awake, nor be roused out of their sleeps. Oh, then you would hide me in Sheol's, shelter me till your rest is past. Fix a time to remember me. If a man were to die and live again, all the day of my drudgery I would wait for my relief to come. You would call and I would answer you. You would long for the work of your hands. Surely then you would count my steps and not keep watch for sin in me. My misdeed would be sealed of the inner porch, and you would cover over my guilt. Mountains fall and crumble, rocks move from their place. And the water wears away stone, and the floods wash away the soil of the land. So you destroy the hope of the mortals. You prevail once for all against them, and they pass on. You dismiss them with changed appearance. If their children are honored, they are not aware of it, or if disgraced, they do not know about them. Only for themselves their pains, only for themselves their mournings. Job chapter 15, second speech of the Eliphaz. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Does a wise man answer with windy opinions, or but himself up with the east wind? Does he argue in speech that does not avail, and in words that are to no profit? You in fact do away with the piety, you lessen devotion toward God. Because your wickedness instructs your mouth, and you choose to speak like crafties. Your own mouth condemns you, not I, your own lips refute you. Were you the first to be born? Were you brought forth before the hills? Do you listen in one God's counsel and restrict wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know, or understand that we do not? There are gray-haired old men among us, more advanced in years than your fathers. Are the consolation of God not enough for you, and speech that deals gently with you? Why does your heart carry you away, and why do your eyes flash? So that you turn your anger against God, and let such words escape your mouth. How can any mortals be blameless, anyone born of the woman be righteous? If in his holy ones God placed no confidence, and if the heavens are without blame in his sight, how much less so is the abominable and corrupt, people who drunk in iniquity like waters. I'll show you if you listen to me what I have seen I will tell. What the wise relate and have not contradicted since the days of their ancestors, to whom alone the land was given when no foreigner moved among them. The wicked is in torment all his days, and the limited years are in the straw for the ruthless. The sound of the terrors is in his ears when all is prosperous. A spoiler comes upon him. He despairs of escaping the darkness and looks ever for the sword. A wonderful food for the virtuous, he knows destruction is imminent. A day of darkness fills him with dread, distress and anguish overpower him like a king expecting an attack. Because he has stretched out his hand against God and arrogantly challenged the Almighty. rushing defiantly against him with the stout bosses of his shield. Although he has covered his face with his crannies, padded his loins with a bloodbowl. He shall dwell in ruined cities, in houses that are deserted, crumbling into rubble. He shall not be rich, his possession shall not endure, his property shall not spread over the land. A flame shall sear his yearly growth, and with the wind his blossom shall disappear. Let him not trust in his height misled, even though his height be like the palm trees. He shall wither before his time, his branch no longer greens. He shall be like a vine that shed its grapes unripened, like an olive tree casting off its blossom. For the breed of the impious shall be sterile, and the fire shall consume the tents of the extortioners. They conceive malice, bring forth deceit, give birth to frauds. Job chapter 16, Job's false reply. Then Job answered and said, I have heard the sort of the thing many times, troublesome comforters, all of you. Is there no end to windy words? What sickness makes you latter on? I also could talk as you do, were you in my place. I could declaim over you or whack my head at you. I could strengthen you with talk, with mere chattels give reliefs. If I speak, my pain is not relieved. If I stop speaking, nothing changes. But now he has exalted me, you have stunned all my companions. You have shrived me up, it is witness, my gauntness rises up to testify against me. His wrath tears and assails me. He gnashes his teeth against me. My enemy looks daggers at me. They gape at me with their mouths. They strike me on the cheek with insult. They are all enlisted against me. God has given me over to impious, into the hands of the wicked he has cast me. I was in peace, but he dislodged me, seized me by the neck, dashed me to the pieces. He has set me up for a target. His arrows strike me from all directions. He pierces my side without mercy, pours out my gall upon the ground. He pierces me thrust upon thrust, rushes at me like a warrior. I have sewn sackcloth on my skin, laid my horn low in the dust. My face is inflamed with weeping, darkness covers my eyes. Although my hands are free from violence and my prayer sincere. Or else do not cover my blood, nor let my outcry come to a rest. Even now my witness is in heaven, my advocate is on high. My friends, it is who wrong me, before God my eyes shed tears. That justice may be done for a mortal with God as for a man with his neighbors. For my years are numbered, and I go the road of the no returns. Job chapter 17. My spirit is broken, my days are finished, my burial at hand. Surely mockers surround me at their provocation, my eyes grow dim. Put up a pledge for me with you, who is there to give a surety for me? You darken their mind to knowledge, therefore you will not exalt them. For short of the property he informs on friends, while the eyes of the children grow dim. I am made by rule of the people, I am one at whom people spite. My eyes are blind with anguish, and my whole frame is like a shadow. The upright are astonished at this, the innocent aroused against the wicked. The righteous holds to his way, the one with clean hands increase in strength. But turn now and come on again. I do not find a wise man among you. My days pass by, my plans are at an end. The earring of my heart. They would change the night into day. Where there is darkness, they talk of the approaching light. If my only hope is dwelling in Sheol and spreading my couch in darkness, if I am to say to the pit, you are my father, and to the worm, my mother, my sister, where then is my hope, my happiness, who can see it? Will they descend with me into Sheol? Shall we go down together into the dust? Job chapter 18, Bildad's second speech. Then Bildad the Shunammite answered and said, when will you put an end to wars? Reflect, and then we can have a discussion. Why are we accounted like a beast, equal to them in your sight? You tear yourself in your anger. Shall the earth be neglected on your account, or the rock be moved out of its place? Truly the light of the wicked is extinguished, the flame of the is cast no light. In his tent the light is darkness, the lamp above him goes out. His vigorous steps are hemmed in, his own counsel cast him down. A net catches him by the feet, he wanders into a pitfall. A trap seizes him by the hair, a snare lays hold of him. A noose is hidden for him on the ground, a netting for him on the path. On every side the terrors frighten him, they harry him at each step. His strength is famished, distress is ready at his side. His skin is eaten to the limbs, the firstborn of the dead eat his limbs. He is plucked from the security of his tent and marched up to the king of the terrors. Fire rises in his tent, over his abode the brimstone is scattered. Below his root dry up, and above his branch withers. His memory perishes from the earth, and he has no name in the countryside. He is driven from light into darkness, and banished from the world. He has neither offshoot nor offspring among his people, no survivor where once he dwelt. Those who come after shall be appalled at his fate, those who went before are seized with horrors. So it is then with the dwelling of the impious, such is the place of the one who does not know God. Job chapter 19. Job 5th reply. Then Job answered and said, how long will you afflict my spirit, grind me down with words? These 10 times you have humiliated me, have assailed me without shame. Even if it were true I am at fault, my fault would remain with me. If truly you exalt yourselves at my expense and use my shame as an argument against me, know then that it is God who has dealt unfairly with me and compassed me around with his net. If I cry out violence, I am not answered. I shout for help, but there is no justice. He has barred my way and I cannot pass, veiled my path in darkness. He has stripped me of my glory, taken my diadem from my brows. He brought me down on every side, and I am gone. He has uprooted my hope like a tree. He has kindled his wrath against me. He counted me one of his enemies. His troops advanced as one. They built up their road to attack me, encamped around my tent. My family has withdrawn from me. My friends are lowly estranged. My relative and companion regret me. My guests have forgotten me. Even my maidservant consider me a stranger. I am foreigner in their sight. I call my servant, but he gives no answer, though I prayed aloud with him. My breast is abhorrent to my wife. I am loathsome to my very children. Even young children despise me when I appear. They speak against me. All my intimate friends hold me in horror. Those whom I loved have turned against me. My bones cling to my skin, and I have escaped by the skin of my teeth. Pity me, you my friends, for the hand of the God has struck me. Why do you pursue me like God and prey insatiably upon me? Oh, would that my words were written down, would that they were inscribed in records. That with the iron chisel and with a lead they were cut in the rock of the forever. As for me, I know that my vindicator lives, and that he will at last stand forth upon the dust. This will happen when my skin has been stripped off, and from my flesh I'll see God. I'll see for myself, my own eyes, not another's. We behold him. My inmost being is consumed with longings. But you who say, how shall we persecute him, seeing that the root of the matter is found in him? Be afraid of the sword for yourselves, for your anger is a crime deserving the sword, that you may know that there is a judgment. Joppa's second speech. Then Joppa the Naamathite answered and said, So now my thought provide an answer for me because of the feeling within me. A rebuke that put me to shame I hear, and from my understanding a spirit gives me a reply. Do you not know this from of old, since human beings were placed upon the earth? The triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the impious but for a moment. Though his pride mount up to the heavens, and his head reach to the clouds, yet he perishes forever like the dung he used for fuels, and onlookers say, Where is he? Like a dream he takes a flight and cannot be found. He fades away like a vision of the night. The eyes which saw him does so no more, nor shall his dwelling again behold him. His sons will restore to the poor, and his hand will yield up his riches. Though his bones are full of the useful vigors, it shall lie with him in the dust. Though wickedness is sweet in his mouth, and his hide is under his tongues. Though he retains it and will not let it go, but keeps it still within his mouth. Yet in his stomach the food shall churn, it shall be a venom of the aspus inside him. The riches he swallowed he shall vomit up, God shall make his belly disgorge them. The poison of the asps he shall drink in, the viper fangs shall slay him. He shall see no stream of oil, no torrent of the honey or milk. He shall give back his gains never used, like his profit from trade never enjoyed. Because he has oppressed and neglected the poor, and stolen a house he did not build. For he has known to quiet in his greed, in his treasure he cannot save himself. None of his survival will consume it, therefore his prosperity shall not endure. When he has more than enough, distress shall be his, every sort of the trouble shall come upon him. When he has filled his belly, God shall send against him the fury of his wrath, and rain down his missiles upon him. Should he escape on iron weapons, a bronze bow shall pierce him through. The dart shall come out of his back, a shining point out of the gall breast. Terrors fall upon him. Complete darkness is in store for his treasure once. A fire unfanned shall consume him. Any survivor in his tent shall be destroyed. The heavens shall reveal his guilt, and the earth rise up against him. The flood shall sweep away his house, a torrent in the day of the God angers. This is the portion of the wicked, the heritage appointed him by God. Job chapter 21. Job 6 reply. Then Job answered and said, At least listen to my words, and let that be the consolation you offer. Bear with me while I speak, and after I have spoken, you cannot mock. Is my complaint toward any human beings? Why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be appalled. Put your hands over your mouths. When I think of it, I am dismayed, and the shuddering seizes my flesh. Why do wicked keep on living, grow old, become mighty in powers? Their progeny is insecure in their sight, their offspring are before their eyes. Their homes are safe without fear, and the Lord of God is not upon them. Their bulls breed without fail, their cows calve and do not miscarry. They let their young run free like a sheep, their children skip about. They sing along with drum and relay and make merry to the sound of the pipe. They live out their days in the prosperity and tranquilly go down to Sheol. Yet they say to God, Depart from us, for we have no desire to know your ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve Him, and what do you gain by praying to Him? Their happiness is not in their own hands, the design of the wicked are far from me. How often is the lamp of the wicked put out? How often does destruction come upon them, the portion God allots in His angers? Let them be like a straw before the wind, like a trap the storm carries away. God is storing up the man's misery for his children. Let him requite the man himself so that he knows it. Let his own eyes behold his calamity, and the rest of the Almighty let him drink. For what interest has he is in a family after him when the number of his months is finished? Can anyone teach God knowledge, seeing that He judges those on high? One dies in his full vigor, wholly at ease and content. His figure is full and nourished, his bones are moist with marrows. Another dies with a bitter spirit, never having tasted happiness. Alike they lie down in the dust, and the worms cover them both. See, I know your thought and the argument you plot against me. For you say, Where is the house of the great, and where the dwelling place of the wicked? Have you not asked the wayfarers, and do you not acknowledge the witness they give? On the day of the calamity, the evil man is spared. On the day the rest is released. Who will charge him to his face about his conduct, and for what he has done, who will repay him? He is carried to the grave, and at his tomb they keep watch. Sweet to him are the clothes of the valley, all human kind will follow after him, and countless others before him. How empty the consolation you offer me, your argument remain of frauds. Job chapter 22. Eliphaz through speech. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Can a man be profitable to God? Can a wise man be profitable to him? Does he praise the Almighty that you are just? Does he gain if your ways are perfect? It is because of your piety that he reproves you, that he enters into judgment with you. Is not your wickedness great, your iniquity and race? You keep your relatives good in plenty unjustly, rip them stripped naked of their clothing. To the thirsty you give no water to drink, and from the hungry you withhold the bread. As if the land belonged to the powerful, and only the privileged could dwell in it. You send the widows away empty-handed, and the resources of the orphan are destroyed. Therefore, snares are round about you, sudden terror makes you panic. A darkness you cannot see, a deluge of the water covers you. Does not God in the height of the heavens behold the top of the stars, high though there are? Yet you say, what does God know? Can he judge through the thick darkness? Clouds hide him so that he cannot see as he walks around the circuit of the heavens. Do you indeed keep to the ancient way trodden by the wateries? They were snatched before their time, their foundation a river swept away. They said to God, let us alone, and what can the Almighty do to us? Yet he had filled their houses with good things. The design of the wicked are far from me. The just look on and are glad, and the innocent deride them. Truly our enemies are destroyed, and what was left to them fire has consumed. Settle with him and have peace, that way good shall come to you. Receive instruction from his mouth and praise his words in your hearts. If you return to Almighty, you will be restored. If you put iniquity far from your tent, and treat the raw gold as dust, the fine gold of the opera as pebbles in the wadis, then the Almighty himself shall be your gold and your sparkling silvers. For then you shall delight in the Almighty, you shall lift up your face toward God. Entreat him, and he will hear you, and your vows you shall fulfill. What you decide shall succeed for you, and upon your ways light shall shine. For when they are brought low, you will say, it is pride, but downcast eyes he saves. Will deliver whoever is innocent, you shall be delivered if your hands are clean. Job chapter 23, Job 7's reply. Then Job answered and said, today especially my complaint is bitter, his hand is heavy upon me in my groanings. Would that I knew how to find him, that I might come to his dwelling. I would set out my cases before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would learn the words he would answer me, understand what he would say to me. Would he contend against me with his great powers? No, he himself would hit me. There an upright man might argue with him, and I would once and for all be delivered from my judge. But if I go east, he is not there, or west, I cannot perceive him. The north enfolds him, and I cannot catch sight of him. The south hides him, and I cannot see him. Yet he knows my way. If he tests me, I should come forth like gold. My foot has always walked in his steps. I have kept his way and not turned aside. From the commands of his lips I have not departed. The words of his mouth I have treasured in my heart. But once he decides, who can contradict him? What he desires, that he does. For he will carry out what is appointed for him, and many such things he has in store. Therefore I am terrified before him. When I take thought, I dread him. For it is God who has made my heart faint, the Almighty who has terrified me. Yes, would that I have vanished in darkness, hidden by the thick gloom before me. Job chapter 24. Why are times not set by the Almighty, and why do his friends not see his days? People remove landmarks, they steal horses and pasture them. The donkey of the orphans they drive away, they take the widow's ox for a pledge. They force the needy off the road, and all the poor of the land are driven into hiding. Like wild donkeys in the wilderness, they go forth to the task of the seeking prey. The steppe provide food for their young. They harvest the fodder in the field and the grain in the vineyard of the wicked. They pass the night naked without clothing. They have no covering against the cold. They are drenched with rain from the mountains, and for want of the shelter they cling to the rock. Orphans are snatched from the breast. The infants of the needy are taken in pledge. They go about naked without the clothing, and the famished they carry the sheaves. Between the rows they press out the oil, they treat the wine presses, yet are thirsty. In the city the dying groan, and the soul of the wounded cry out, yet God does not treat it as a disgrace. They are rebels against the right, they do not recognize its ways, they do not stay in its paths. When there is no right, the murderer rises to kill the poor and needy. In the night he acts like thieves. The eye of the adulterer watches for the twilight. He says, no eyes will see me. He puts a mask over his face. In the dark he breaks into houses. By day they shut themselves in. They do not know the right. Indeed, for all of them, morning is deep darkness. Then they recognize the terror of the deep darkness. He swept on the surface of the water. They portion in the land in a coast. They do not turn aside by way of the vineyard. Drought and heat snatch away the snow waters, the shithole those who have sinned. May the uns forget him, may the woman find him sweet, may he no longer be remembered, and may wickedness be broken like a tree. May his companion be barren, unable to give birth, may his widow not prosper. He sustained the mighty by his strength, to him who rides without the assurance of his life. He gives safety and support, and his eyes are on the ways. They are exalted for a while, and then are no more. Lay low like everyone else, they are thrust up. Like ears of the grain, they shrivels. If this be not so, who can make me a liar and reduce my words to nothings? Job chapter 25. Then Bildad the Shunammite answered and said, Dominion and the dread are his, who brings about harmony in his heavens. Is there any numbering of his troops? Yet on each of them does his light not rise? How can anyone be in the right against God, or how can any born of the woman be innocent? Even the moon is not bright, and the stars are not clean in his eyes. How much less a human being who is but a worm, a mortal who is only a maggot? Job chapter 26. Job replied. Then Job answered and said, What help you give to the powerless, what strength to the feeble arm? How you give counsel to one without wisdom, how profuse is the advice you offer? With whose help have you uttered those words, whose breath comes forth from you? The shade beneath right in terror, the worlds and their inhabitants. Naked before him in the Sheol, and Abaddon has no coverings. He stretched out the Japhon over the void, and suspends the earth over nothing at all. He binds up the world in his cloud, yet the cloud is not split by their weight. He holds back the appearance of the full moon by spreading his clouds before it. He has marked out a circle on the surface of the deep as the boundary of the light and darkness. The pillar of the heavens tremble and are stunned at his thunderous reproach. By his power he stilled the sea, by his skill he crushed the barbs. By his wind the heavens were made clear, his hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Lo, these are but the outline of his ways, and what the whisper of the world ye hear of him. Who can comprehend the thunder of his powers? Job chapter 27, Job replied. Job took up his theme again and said, As God lives, who takes away my right, the Almighty who has made my life bitter. So long as I still have a life breath in me, the breath of God in my nostrils, my lips shall not speak of falsehood, nor my tongues utter deceit. Far be it from me to account your right, till I die I'll renounce my innocence. My justice I'll maintain and I will relinquish it. My heart does not reproach me for any of my days. Let my enemy be as the wicked, and my adversary as the unjust. For what hope has the impious when he is cut off, when God recovers his life? Will God then listen to his cries when distress comes upon him? If he delights in the Almighty and calls upon God constantly, I will teach you what is God's hand, and the way of the Almighty I will not conceal. Look, you yourselves have all seen it. Why do you spend yourselves in empty words? This is a portion of the wicked with God, the heritage of oppressed received from the Almighty. Though his children be many, the sword wait them, his descendants shall want for bread. His survivors shall be buried in death, their widows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver like dust, and throw away mounds of the clothing. What he has strawed the righteous shall wear, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He builds his house as cobwebs, or like a booth put up by a watchman. He lies down a rich man one last time. He opens his eyes, nothing is there. Terrors float over him like water. At night the tempest carries him out. The east wind sees him and he is gone. It sweeps him from his place. It hurls itself at him without pity as he tries to flee from its power. It claps its hands at him and whistles at him from its place. Job chapter 28. Where is wisdom to be found? There is indeed a mine for silver and a place for refining gold. Iron is taken from the ores and the copper smelted out of stone. He sets a boundary for the darkness, the far distant confines he explores. He breaks open a shelter far from habitation, unknown to human feet. Suspended far from people, they sway. The earth, though out of it comes first bread, is in fury unhealed underneath. Its stones are the source of the lapis lazuli, and there is gold in its dust. The pest no bird of the prey knows, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beast have not trodden it, nor has the lion gone that way. He set his hand to the flinty rock and overturned the mountain at the root. He split the channel in the rocks, his eyes behold all that is precious. He dams up the source of the stream and brings hidden things to a light. As for wisdom, where can she be found? Where is the place of the understanding? Mortals do not know her past, nor is she to be found in the land of the living. The deep says she is not in me, and the sea says she is not with me. Solid gold cannot purchase her, nor can her price be paid with silver. She cannot be bought with gold of the Ophir, with precious onyx or lapis lazuli. Gold or crystal cannot equal her, nor can gold and vessel be exchanged for her. Neither coral nor crystal should be thought of. The value of the wisdom surpasses pearls. Ethiopian topaz does not equal her, nor can she be weighed out for poor gold. As for wisdom, where does she come from? Where is the place of the understanding? She is hidden from the eyes of the every living things, even from the birds of the air she is concealed. Abaddon and Death say, only by rumor have we heard of hers. But God understands the way to her, it is He who knows her place. For He beholds the ends of the earth and sees all that is under the heavens. When He weighed out the wind and measured out the waters. When He made the rule for the rain and the path for the thunderbolts. Then He saw wisdom and appraised her, established her and searched her out. And to mortals He said, see, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and avoiding evil is understanding. Job chapter 29. Job took up his theme again and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when God watched over me. While He kept His lamp shining above my head, and by His light I walked through darkness. As I was in my flourishing days, when God sheltered my tent, when the Almighty was still with me, and my children were round about me, when my footsteps were bathed in cream, and the rock flowed with a stream of oils. Whenever I went out to the gate of the city and took my seat in the scale, the young men saw me and withdrew, and the elder rose up and stood. The official refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voice of the princes was silenced, and their tongues struck to the roof of their mouths. The ear that heard blasphemy, the eye that saw acclaimed me. For I rescued the poor who cry out for help, the oppressed and the unassisted. The blessing of those in extremity came upon me, and the heart of the widow I made joyful. I wore my righteousness like a garment, the justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind, and the feet to the lame was eyes. I was a father to the poor, the complaint of the stranger I pursued. And I broke the jaws of the wicked man, from his teeth I forced the prey. I said, in my own nest I shall grow old, I shall multiply years like the phoenix. My root is spread out to the world, the dew rests by night on my branches. My glory is fresh within me, and my bow is renewed in my hand. For me they listened and waited, there was silence for my counsels. Once I spoke, they said no more, but received my pronouncement drop by drop. They waited for me as for the rain, they drank in my words like a spring rains. When I smiled on them, they could not believe it, they would not let the light of my face be dimmed. I decided their course and sat at their head. I lived like a king among the troops, like one who comforts mourners. Job chapter 13. But now they hold me in derision, who are younger than I, whose father I should have disdained, to rank with the dog of my flocks. Such strength as they had meant nothing to me, their vigor had perished. In want and emaciating hunger, they fled to the parched land, to the desolate wasteland by night. They plucked the saltwood and the shrubs, the root of the broom plant were their food. They were banished from the community with the outcry like that against the thieves. To dwell on the slope of the wadis, in cave of the sand and stone. Among the bushes they breaded, under the nettles they huddled together. Irresponsible of no account, they were driven out of the land. Yet now they sing of me in mockeries, I have become by words among them. They overawe me, they stand aloof, they do not hesitate to spit in my face. Because he has loosened my bowstring and afflicted me, they have thrown up a restraint in my presence. On my right, the young rebel rise up, they trip my feet, they build their approaches for my ruins. They tear up my paths, they promote my ruins, no helper is there against them. As through a wide breach they advance, amid the uproar they come on in waves. Terrors roll over me, my dignity is driven up like the wind, and my well-being vanishes like a cloud. And now my life ebbs away from me, days of affliction have taken hold of me. At night he pierces my bones, my sinews have no rest. With great difficulty I change my clothes, the color of my tunic fits around my waist. He has cast me into the mire, I have become like dust and ashes. I cry to you, but you do not answer me, I stand, but you take no notice. You have turned into my tormentors, and with your strong hand you attack me. You raise me up and drive me before the wind. I am tossed about by the tempest. Indeed, I know that you will return me to death, to the house destined for everyone alive. Yet should not a hand be held out to help a wretched person in distress? Did I weep for the hardship for others? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? Yet when I look for good, evil came. When I expect the right, darkness came. My inward parts seethe and will not be still. The days of affliction have overtaken me. I go about in gloom without the sun. I rise in assembly and cry for help. I have become a brother to Zacchaeus, a companion to ostriches. My blackened skin falls away from me, my very frame is scorched by the heat. My lily is turned to mourning, and my reed pipe to the sound of the weeping. Job chapter 31. I made a covenant with my eyes, not gaze upon a vision. What portion comes from God above? What hardship from Almighty on high? Is not calamity for the uprighteous and woe for evildoers? Does he not see my ways and number all my steps? If I walked in falsehood and my foot has hastened to deceit, let God weigh in me in the scale of the justice, thus will we know my innocence. If my steps have turned out of the way, and my heart has followed my eyes, or any stain cling to my hands, then may I sow but another eat, and may my produce be rooted off. If my heart has been enticed toward a woman, and I have lain in wait at my neighbor's door, then may my wife grind for another, and may others kneel over hers. For what would be heinous a crime to be condemned? A fire that would consume down to the Abaddon till it uprooted all my crops. Had I refused justice to my manservant or to my maidservant when they had complained against me? What then should I do when God rises up? What could I answer when he demands an account? Did not he who made me in the belly make him? Did not the same one fashion us in the wombs? If I denied anything that the poor desired, or allowed the eye of the widow to languish, while I ate my portion alone, with no share in it for the fatherless. Though like a father he has reared me from my youth, guiding me even from my mother's wombs. If I have seen a wanderer without the clothing, or a poor man without the coverings, whose limbs have not blessed me when warmed with the fleece of my sheep, If I have raised my hand against the innocent because I saw that I have supporters at the gate, then may my arm fall from the shoulders, my forearm be broken at the elbows. For I dread the calamity from God, and His majesty will overpower me. Had I put my trust in gold and called fine gold my securities? Or had I rejoiced that my wealth was great, or that my hand had acquired abundance? Had I looked upon the light as it shone, or the moon in the splendor of its progress? And had my heart been secretly enticed to blow them a kiss with my hands? This too would be a crime for condemnation, for I should have denied God above. Have I rejoiced at the destruction of my enemy, or exulted when evil came upon him? Even though I had not allowed my mouth to sin by invoking a curse against his life. Had not the man of my tent exclaimed, who has not been faithful with meat? No stranger was in the street, for I opened my door to wayfarers. Had I all too human hidden my sins and buried my guilt in my bosoms? Because I fear the great multitude and the scorn of the clan terrified me. Then I should have remained silent and not come out of doors. Or that I had one to hear my case, here is my signature, let the Almighty answer me, let my accuser write out his indictment. Surely I should wear it on my shoulder, or put it on my like a diadem. Of all my steps I should give him an account, like a prince I should present myself before him. If my land has cried out against me, there is a furrows wept together. If I have eaten its strength without payment, and grieved the heart of his tenant, then let the thorns grow instead of wheat, and the stingweed instead of barley. The words of the Job are ended. Job chapter 32. Then three men ceased to answer Job, because his own eyes he was in the right. But the anger of the Elu, son of the Barachar, the Buzite of the clan of the Ram, was kindled. He was angry with Job for considering himself, rather than God, to be in the right. He was angry also with the three friends, because they had not found a good answer and had not condemned Job. But since these men were older than he, Elu bided his time before addressing Job. When, however, Elu saw that there was no reply in the mouth of the three men, his wrath was inflamed. So Elu, son of the Bachar the Buzite, answered and said, I am young and you are very old, therefore I held back and was afraid to declare to you my knowledge. I thought the days should speak and many years teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in human beings, the breath of the Almighty, that gives them understandings. It is not those many days who are wise, nor the age who understand the right. Therefore I say, listen to me, I also will declare my knowledge. Behold, I have waited for your words, have given ear to your argument, as you search out what to say. Yes, I follow you attentively, and look, none of you has a convict Job. Not one could refute his statement. So do not say, we have met wisdom, God can vanquish him, but no morals. For had he addressed his words to me, I do not then have answered him with your words. They are dismayed, they make no more reply, words fail them. Must I wait now that they speak no more and have ceased to make a reply? I too will speak my part, I also declare my knowledge. For I am full of words, the Spirit with me compels me. My belly is like unopened wine, like wineskin ready to burst. Let me speak and obtain lips. Let me open my lips and reply. I will not be partial to anyone, nor give flattering title to any. For I know nothing of flattery. If I did, my Maker would soon take me away. Job chapter 33. Therefore, O Job, hear my discourse, listen to all my words. Behold, now open my mouth, my tongue and voice form words. I'll state directly what it is in my mind, my lips shall speak knowledge clearly. For the Spirit of God made me, the breath of the Almighty keeps me alive. If you are able, refute me, draw up your argument and take your stand. Look, I am like you before God, I too was pinched from clay. Therefore fear of me should not dismay you, nor should I weigh heavily upon you. But you have said in my hearing, as I listen to the sound of your words, I am clean without the transgression, I am innocent, there is no guilt in me. Yet he invented pretext against me and count me as an enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks, watch all my paths. In this you are not just, let me tell you, for God is greater than mortals. Why then do you make a complaint against him that he gives no reply to their words? For God does speak once, even twice, though you do not see it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon mortals as they slumber in their beds. It is then he opens their ears and with a warning terrifies them. By turning mortals from acting and keeping pride away from a man's. He holds his soul from the pit, his life from passing to the grave. While he is chastened on the bed of the pain, suffering continually in his bones. So that to his appetite the food is repulsive, he throat rejects the choicest nourishment. His flesh is wasted, it cannot be seen, bones once invisible appears. His soul draws near to the pit, his life to the place of the dead. If then there be a divine messenger or mediator, one out of the thousands, to show him what is right, he'll take a pity on him and say, deliver him from going down to the pit, I have found him a ransom. Then his flesh shall become soft as boys, he shall be again as in the days of his youth. He shall pray and God will favor him, he shall see God's face with rejoicing, for he restores a person's righteousness. He shall sing before all and say, I sinned and did wrong, yet I was not punished accordingly. He delivered me from passing to the pit, and my life sees right. See, all these things God does 2, even 3 times for a man's. Bring back his soul from the pit to the right, in the right of the living. Be attentive, Job, listen to me, be silent and I'll speak. If you have anything to say, then answer me. Speak out, I should like to see you justified. If not, then you listen to me, be silent and I'll teach you wisdom. Job chapter 34. Then Elihu answered and said, hear my discourse, you that are wise, you that have knowledge, listen to me. For the ear tests the words as the palate tests food. Let us choose what is right, let us determine among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am innocent, but God has taken away what is my right. I declare the judgment on me to be a lie. My arrow wound is incurable, sinless though I am. What man is like Job? He drinks in blasphemies like waters, keeps company with evildoers, and goes along with the wicked. when he says there is no profit in pleasing God. Therefore you that have understanding hear me, far be it from God to the wickedness, far from the Almighty to the wrongs. Rather he requites more for their conduct and brings home to them their way of their lives. Surely God cannot act wickedly, the Almighty cannot violate justice. Who gave him charge over the earth, or who set all the world in its place? If he were to set his mind to it, gather to himself his spirit and breath, all flesh would perish together, and mortals return to dust. Now you understand that hear this, listen to the words I speak. Can the enemy of the just be in control? Will you condemn the supreme just one? Who says to king, you are worthless, and to nobles, you are wicked? Who neither favor the person of the princes, nor respect the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die, even at midnight. The people are shaken and pass away. The powerful are removed without lifting a hand. For his eyes are upon our ways, and all our steps he sees. There is no darkness so dense that evildoers can hide in it. For no one has God set a time to come before him in judgment. Without inquiry he shatters the mighty and appoints the others in their place. Thus he discerns their works, overnight they are crushed. Where the wicked are, he strikes them in a place where all can see. Because they turned away from him and did not understand his ways at all, and made the cry of the poor reach him, so that he heard the cry of the afflicted. If he is silent, who then can condemn? If he hide his face, who then can behold him, whether nation or individuals? Let an impious man not rule, nor those ensnare their peoples. Should anyone say to God, I accept my punishment, I will offend no more. What I cannot see, teach me. If I have done wrong, I will do so no more. Would you then say that God must punish when you are disdainful? It is you who must choose, not I. Speak therefore what you know. Those who understand will say to me, all the wise who hear my views. Job speaks without knowledge, his words make no sense. Let Job be tested to the limit, since he answered are those of the impious. For he is adding rebellion to his sin by brushing off our argument and addressing many words to God. Job chapter 35. Then Elihu answered and said, Do you think it right to say I am in the right, not God? When you ask what is the profit to you, what advantage do I have from not sinning? I have words for a reply to you, and you are friends as well. Look up to the sky and see, behold the heavens high above you. If you sin, what do you do to God? Even if your offenses are many, how do you affect him? If you are righteous, what do you give him, or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects only someone like yourself, and your justice only a fellow human beings. In great oppression, people cry out, they call for help because of the power of the great. No one says, where is God my Maker, who gives a song in the night? Teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of the heavens. Though thus they cry out, he does not answer because of the pride of the wicked. But it is either to say God does not hear, or that the Almighty does not take notice. Even though you say you take no notice of it, the case is before him with a trembling weight upon him. But now that you have done otherwise, God's anger punishes, nor does he show much concern over a life. Yet Job to no purpose opened his mouth, multiplying words without knowledge. Job chapter 36. Allah continued and said, Wait a little and I will instruct you, for there are still words to be said for God. I will assemble argument from afar, and for my maker I will establish what is right. For indeed my words are not a lie, one perfect in knowledge is before you. Look, God is great, not disdainful. His strength of the purpose is great. He does not preserve the life of the wicked. He established the right of the poor. He does not divert his eyes from the just. But he sits them upon thrones with kings exalt forever. If they are bound with fetters, held fast by bonds of the afflictions, he lets them know what they have done and how arrogant are their sins. He opens their ears to the correction and tells them to turn back from evils. If they listen and serve him, they spend their days in prosperity, their years in happiness. But if they do not listen, they pass to the grave, they perish for the lack of the knowledge. The impious in heart ray of anger, they do not cry for the help when he bounds them. They will die young, they lie among the reprobate. But he saved the afflicted through their affliction and opens their ears through oppressions. He entices you from distress to a broad place without constraints. What rests on your table is rich food. Though you are full of the judgment of the wicked, judgment and justice will be maintained. Let not anger at abundance entice you, nor great bribery lead you astray. Will your wealth equip you against distress, or all your exertion of strength? Do not long for the night when people vanish in their place. Be careful, do not turn to evil, for this you have preferred to afflictions. Look, God is exalted in his power. What teacher is there like him? Who prescribes for him his way? Who says you have done wrong? Remember, you should extol his work, which people have praised in song. All humankind beholds it, everyone views it from afar. See, God is great beyond our knowledge. The number of his years are past searching out. He holds in check the water drops that filter in rain from his flood, till the cloud flow with them and they rain down on all humankind. Can anyone understand the spreading cloud, the thundering from his tent? Look, he spread his right over it, he covered the root of the sea. For by this he judges the nation and gives food in abundance. In his hand he holds the lightning and he commands it to strike the mark. His thunder announces him and incite the fury of the storm. Job chapter 37. At this my heart trembled and leaped out of its place. Listen to his angry voice and the rumble that comes forth from his mouth. Everywhere under the heaven he sent it with his right to the end of the earth. Again his voice roars, his majestic voice thunders. He does not restrain them when his voice is heard. God thunders forth marvel with his voice. He does not great things beyond our knowing. He says to the snow, fall to the earth, likewise to his heavy drenching rain. He shut up all humankind indoors so that all people may know his works. The wild beasts take to cover and remain quiet in their dens. Out of its chamber the tempest comes forth, from the north wind the cold. With his breath God brings the frost and the broad waters congeals. The clouds too are laden with moisture, the storm cloud scatter it right. It is who changes their rounds according to his plans, to do all that he commands them across the inhabited world. Whether for punishment or mercy, he makes it happen. Listen to this, Job. Stand and consider the marvel of God. Do you know how God raised his command upon them and makes the light shine forth from his clouds? Do you know how the clouds are banked, the marvel of him who is perfect in knowledge? You who swelter in your clothes when calms rise over the land from the south. Can you with him spread out the firmament of the skies, hard as molten mirrors? Teach us then what we shall say to him. We cannot, for the darkness make our praise. Will it be told about it when I speak? Can anyone talk when he is being destroyed? Rather it is as the light that cannot be seen while it is obscured by the clouds, till the wind comes by and sweeps them away. From Japhon the golden splendor comes, surrounding God awesome majesty. The Almighty, we cannot find him preeminent in power and judgment, abundant in justice, who never oppressed. Therefore people fear him, none can see him, however wise their hearts. Job chapter 38. Then the Lord answered Job out of the storm and said, Who is this who darkens counsel with words of the ignorance? Gird up your loins now like a man. I will question you, and you tell me the answers. Where were you when I found the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its size? Surely you know. Who stretched out the measuring line for it? Into what world is the pedestal sunk, and who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Who shut within doors the sea when it burst forth from the wombs? When I made the cloud its garment, and the thick darkness its swaddling bands? When I set a lintel for it, and fastened the bar of its doors? And I said, Thus far shall you come, but no farther, and here shall your proud waves stop? Have you ever in your lifetime commanded the morning, and shown the dawn its praise? For the taking hold of the ends of the earth, till the wicked are shaken from it. The earth is changed as clay by the seal, and dyed like a garment. But from the wicked their right is withheld, and the arm of the proud is shattered. Have we entered into the sources of the sea, or walked about on the bottom of the deep? Have the gate of the death been shown to you, or have you seen the gate of the darkness? Have you comprehended the breadth of the earth? Tell me if you know it all. What is the way to the dwelling of light and darkness? Where is it placed? That you may take it to its territory and know the path to its homes. You know because you were born then, and the number of your days is great. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, and seen the storehouses of the hares, which I have reserved from times of the distress, for day of war and battles? What is the way to the parting of the winds, where the east wind spread over the earth? Who has laid out the channel for the downpour, and the path for the thunderstorm? To bring rain to the uninhabited land, the uppeopled wilderness. To drench the desolate wasteland till the desert blooms with verdures. Has the rain of fathers, who has begotten the drop of the dew, out of whose womb comes the eyes, and who gives the whole frost its birth in the skies? When the world lies covered as though with stone, that holds captive the surface of the deep? Have you tied cords to the Pleiades, or loosened the bonds of the Orions? Can you bring forth the Mazzaros in the season, or guide the bear with her children? Do you know the ordinance of the heavens? Can you put into effect their plan on the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds for them to cover you with the deluge of the world? Can you send forth the lightning on their ways so that they say to you, here we are? Who gives wisdom to the abyss and gives the lowest understanding? Who counts a cloud with wisdom, who tilts the water jars of the heaven, so that the dust of the earth is fused into a mass and its clothes stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lion or appease the hunger of the young lions, which they crouch in their dens or lie in the ambush in the thicket? Who provide the nourishment for the raven when its young cry out to the God, wandering about without food? Job chapter 40. The Lord then answered Job and said, will one who argue with the Almighty be corrected? Let him who would instruct God give answer. Then Job answered the Lord and said, look, I am of the little account. What can I answer you? I put my hands over my mouth. I have spoken once, I will not reply twice, but I will do so no more. Then the Lord answered Job out of the storm and said, gird up your loins now like a man. I will question you and you tell me the answers. Would you refuse to acknowledge my rights? Would you condemn me that you may be justified? Have you an arm like that of God, or can you thunder with a voice like his? Adorn yourself with grandeur and majesty, and clothe yourself with glory and splendor. Let loose the fury of your wrath. Look at everyone who is proud and bring them down. Look at everyone who is proud and humble them. Tear down the wicked in their place. Bury them in dust together in the hidden world. Imprison them. Then I too praise you, for your own right hand can save you. Look at Behemoth, whom I made along with you, who feeds on grass like an ox. See the strength in his loins, the power in the sinews of his belly. He carries his tail like a cedar, the sinews of his thigh are like cables. His bones are like a tube of the bronze, his limbs are like iron rods. He is the first of the God's ways, only his maker can approach him with a sword. For the mountain bring him produce, and all winged animals make a sport there. Under lotus trees he lies in covert of the reedy swamp. The lotus trees cover him with their shade. All about him are the poplar in their wadis. If the river grows violent, he is not disturbed. He is tranquil, though the Jordan surges about his mouth. Who can capture him by his eyes or pierce his nose with a trap? Can you read the Leviathan about with a hook, or tie down his tongue with a rope? Can you put a ring into his nose, or pierce through his cheek with a gap? When he then plead with you time after time, or address you with tender words, will he make a covenant with you that you may have him as slave forever? Can you play with him as with the birds? Can you tie him up for your little girls? Will the trader bargain for him? Will the merchant divide him up? Can you fill his hide with barbs, or his head with fish's spears? Once you but lay your hand upon him, nor need to recall any other conflicts. Job chapter 41. Whoever might vainly hope to do so need only see him to be overdrawn. No one is furious enough to arouse him, who then dares stand before me. Whoever has assailed me, I will pay back. Everything under the heavens is mine. I need hardly mention his limbs, his strength, and the fitness of his equipment. Who can strip off his outer garment or penetrate his double armors? Who can force open the door of his face, close to his terrible teeth? Rows of the scale are on his back, tightly sealed together. They are fitted so close to each other that no air can come between them. so joined to one another that they hold fast and cannot be parted. When he sneezes, right face forwards, his eyes are like the eyelid of the dawn. Out of his mouth go forth torches, a spark of fire leap forth. From his nostrils comes smoke as from a seething pot or bowl. His breath set the coals of fire, a flame comes from his mouth. Strength abides in his neck, and power lives before him. The force of his flesh stick together, it is cast over him and the immovable. His heart is cast as hard as a stone, cast as the lower millstone. When he rises, the gods are afraid. When he crashes down, they fall back. Should a sword reach him, it will not avail, nor will spear, dart, or javelins. He regards iron as a trap, as bronze as a rotten wood. No arrow will put him to a fright. The sling stone used against him are but straw. Clubs he regards as straw. He laughed at the crash of the spear. Under him are sharp pottery fragments spreading a threatening slash upon the mire. He makes the depths boil like a pot. He makes the deep sea like the perfume bottles. Behind him he leaves a shining path. You would think the deep had white hairs. Upon the earth there is none like him. He was made fearless. He looks over all who are haughty. He is a king over all proud beasts. Job chapter 42. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be hindered. Who is this who obscures counsel with ignorance? I have spoken but did not understand. Things too marvelous for me which I did not know. Listen and I will speak. I will question you and you tell me the answers. By hearsay I had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I disown what I have said and repent in dust and ashes. Job restoration. And after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, My anger blazed against you, and you are to a friend. You have not spoken rightly concerning me, as has my servant Job. So now take 7 bulls and 7 lambs, go to my servant Job, and sacrifice a burnt offering for yourselves. And let my servant Job pray for you. To him I will show favor and not punish your follies. For you have not spoken rightly concerning me, as has my servant Job. Then Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shunammite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did as the Lord has commanded them. The Lord showed favor to Job. And he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, of whom he called the first Jemimah, the second Keziah, and the third Keran-Happuch. Thus the Lord blessed the later days of the Job more than his earlier ones. Now he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of the oxen, and 1,000 sheep and donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The first daughter he called Jemimah, the second Keziah, and third Keran-Happuch. In all the land no other woman was as beautiful as the daughter of the Job, and their father gave them an inheritance among their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years, and he saw his children, his grandchildren, and even his great-grandchildren. Then Job died old and full of years.